going to learn how to make a UIView draggable in Swift. So first up, we're going to create a new Xcode project, single view application, and we're just going to call it drag and drop. And we're just going to create on the desktop, create. Okay, now, so I'm going to create a UI view. I'm just going to create a label. So let label equals to a UILabel. And we're going to set a frame CGRect. And so for the X, which we're just going to set it into the center. So stop.view.bounds.width. So we're going to divide it by 2, so it's in the center. And then Y, we're just going to go self.view.bounds.height divided by 2. I noticed here bounds. Okay, and now width, we're just going to set it to 100 and height 100. Okay, and then we're going to say label dot background color. We're just going to set the color to, let's say, green. And now label dot text equals to drag me, and label dot text alignment equals to ns text alignment dot center. And then lastly, we're just going to add this to the UI view. So self.view.add subview, and we're just going to add label. Okay, so after we add the view, now we're going to set up the gesture. So we're going to make the view draggable. So when the user presses on the view, that view is draggable. So we're going to use a UI PanGestureRecogniser. So we'll just say let gesture equals to UIPanGestureRecogniser, and for the target, we're going to say target self, and the action, which we are going to create this later, but I'm just going to write it now. So action is selector, and so it is a view controller, which is the name of our controller. View controller dot. Right now we don't have this function, but later I'm going to create this function. So I know I will call this was dragged. So I'm just going to name it was dragged, and was dragged has like this. So there is a thing here, because later in the function, for the parameters in the function, the name is going to be hidden. So yeah, it's written like this. And lastly, I'm just going to say label.add gesture recognizer, and we're just going to put gesture. Okay, now we're going to write our was dragged function. So right here, I'm just going to say func was dragged, and the parameter gesture, it's going to be a UI PanGestureRecogniser. Okay. So in this was dragged function, first we're going to set up the translation equals to gesture, which is the gesture recognizer, dot translation. In view, we're going to say self.view. And then we're going to set the label. So label equals to gesture.view, which is the label we've set it earlier here. And now we're going to set the label, the center of the label. Label.center equals to CG point. So this is the new center when the user drags it. So the label follows the path the user's finger goes. So we're going to set up a CG point, and the X is going to be label.center.x plus the translation.x. And the Y is going to be label.center.y plus the translation.y. Okay, and now, why is it yelling at me? Okay, I have to set this to an optional so it doesn't crash. Okay, and lastly, we're going to set gesture.setTranslation, and then the translation is just going to be CG point.0. In view is going to be self.view. Why is it yelling at me like this? Okay, we have to unwrap this here, so we don't have to put all these optional things here. Okay, I'm just going to delete this. So we have to unwrap this, so I'm telling Xcode that there is going to be a view, so it won't be worrying about this. And so we're finished. Let's try this on a iPhone 7 and run this. Come on. Okay, now app's open now. And if we drag this, why doesn't it drag? Okay, let's see what we did wrong. Location, it's right. I've actually said to the center, but why doesn't it appear to be in the center? Okay, I know why it's not in the center, because when we create label programmatically, it actually counts from the upper left corner of this label. So in here, I need to minus half of the width, so it's 50, and here I'm gonna minus half of the height, which is 50. So now it's in the center, but why isn't it dragging? Okay, gesture. I'm just gonna run again. Okay. Now it's in the center, but it's still not dragging. Oh. This should be working. UIPanGestureRecogniser. UIPanGestureRecogniser. Yeah. So what is not working here? Okay. Oh, I know why. Okay. So after we've added the gesture recognizer, and very important step to do is we enable user interaction. Okay, so after adding the gesture recognizer, we're going to set label dot is user interaction enabled, and we're going to set it to true. Otherwise, we won't be able to interact with this thing. Okay, let's run it again. Let's run this again. Okay, and now we can drag it. We can drag it. Yes. Okay, and the last feature I'm going to show you is if you want to build an app that after the user releases its finger, so the UILabel will go back to the original place. So it snaps back. Okay, so we're going to set up an if statement, and if the UI the gesture, if gesture dot state equals UI gesture recognizer state dot ended, and if the gesture ends, we're gonna, so up here, okay, this should be a double equal sign. So let's set an original center. Original center equals to CG point. It's going to be CG rect. CG rect. And the original, wait, no. It's going to be CG point. My bad. It's going to be a CG point. It's just going to be X and Y. And it's going to be self.view.bounds.width divided by 2, because it's center, so we don't have to minus the 50. And then the y is going to be self.view.bounds.height divided by 2. And if it ends, we're just going to set label.center equals to original center. And let's run this. Okay, and now we can drag it and we'll release it. It snaps back. And if you want to use it, so you want to make a puzzle game, let's say, and you want to drag this, and when the user drags it to a specific location, it snaps into that location. Otherwise, it snaps back to the original one. So what you do, you can set up if gesture state is ended, and then you can set up another if statement inside. So we're going to check if this label is in another location. Then we're going to snap it to another location. Otherwise, it's going to snap back to the original location. And that's how you make things draggable. Thanks for watching.